Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Godsaw's Turnbuckle. And it is time once again to be doing some more predictions over here. And it is time for AEW All Out 2021. We got, I believe, like 8 to 10 matches on this particular card, and it should be a very interesting card to go along with it. Very enjoyable stuff going on, and a very much anticipated return, of course, with CM Punk finally returning into the ring. But let's go ahead and get everything started off with the buy-in. It is going to be the pre-show, or the buy-in match is going to be Best Friends and Jurassic Express going up against the HFO, the Hardy Family Organization, or however they really go along with it. But it will be Matt Hardy, Hybrid 2.0, and Private Party. This match, I imagine I see the faces going over in this particular match. I see Best Friends and Jurassic Express going over in this particular one. They really haven't given too much to Matt Hardy in this particular feud, at least in the terms of wins. Obviously, they've been doing a decent amount of afterward beatdowns and everything to go along with that. But I imagine Best Friends and Jurassic Express end up pulling out the victory in this one. And so up next, this match got moved to the actual main card of the pay-per-view after the travel issues with Pac, or the travel issues causing Pac versus Andrade not to happen. It is going to be the Casino Women's Battle Royale. This should be a very interesting. This, of course, should be a very interesting one on the aspects of who is going to get the next title shot against Britt Baker or Chris Statlander, whoever ends up picking up that victory. I'll give that prediction a little bit later on. I am seeing that I'm seeing on the aspect that usually in these cases, exception for like a couple of matches with the Casino Battle Royale, that they don't usually have the mystery person win on that one, with the exception of Brian Cage. Brian Cage did win as the Joker at one point, and did not, and came in last to actually win. The other person I think to actually win last was Hangman Adam Page back at the original one. For that, he ended up getting the Joker card for that particular one, so it wasn't really a surprise or anything. Now, usually the Joker card is safe for some form of surprise, or at least bigger surprise. There's a lot of people going with the aspect that it's going to be Ruby Soho on that one, which that's what I could definitely see that being the case with this particular Joker card. But in the terms of seeing who is going to win this match, I'm thinking they're either going to be rebuilding towards another Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker match. I'm kind of getting that away, aren't I, on this particular one? Or they may have Sheeta pull out the victory and finally getting her rematch for the title as well. But with this particular one, I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa. So up next, we've got Jon Moxley going up against Satoshi Kojima. So, of course, this is one of those aspects of not the fourth wall, but the forbidden door being kind of kicked down on this one. We have another New Japan Pro Wrestling person showing up in AEW, going after Jon Moxley in this particular case as well. I do see this one being at least portrayed as competitive on that one, but I see Jon Moxley going over on this because they've been kind of teasing a build between him and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I see that continuing on here. So Jon Moxley will go over in this match. Up next, we have Paul White going up against QT Marshall. It's the Factory going up against basically whomever they decide to go up against at this point in time. The Gun Club actually turned heel on Dynamite this past week, I think, to try to make this feel like it's going to be a more competitive match between the two of them. But I see Paul White going over in this particular match. Up next, we've got Chris Jericho going up against MJF, with the stipulation of if Chris Jericho loses, he is no longer going to be wrestling in an AEW ring. He will basically be left to commentary at that time. MJF really doesn't get anything if he wins or loses to go along with it. This is more of something with Chris Jericho on that. They have been playing off the aspect that MJF is pretty much in the one-on-one situations gone 3-0 against Chris Jericho, even to the point that they did the whole old Goldberg bit where Jericho did with when he was going up against or trying to go up against Goldberg in the past with a 3-0 shirt. They've been playing off of that as well. And, you know, at this point in time, as much as the storyline says Jericho should win this match, but if Jericho ends out winning, then does the storyline even really end at that point? I think the storyline does end here, and I think Jericho loses on this one. That's right. I'm predicting MJF to win this match and go forward, of course, going forward on with his portion of the career. And we're going to be seeing Chris Jericho a lot more on the commentary table over on Rampage to go along with it, but we will no longer be seeing him in the ring. Now, they could always try something else down the line to get him to come out of retirement. You can always rewrite this to make it to where he has to earn his way back in, or he has to get some kind of special permission or something to go along with it. Should be an interesting way to see what they go with, but I'm going to go with MJF to pick up the victory here and keep that undefeated streak going up against Chris Jericho. Up next, we have the TNT title match. It's going to be Miro going up against Eddie Kingston. This is going to be a good match. I like Eddie Kingston. I think he's great. And Miro has obviously also been amazing since he's gotten himself away from Kip Sabian and everything off of his initial run. His run as TNT champion has been very good. I see it continuing on here. I think Eddie Kingston should get a title at some point in time in his run in AEW. And heck, he may even be the one that eventually does dethrone Miro. But I don't see it happening on this night. I'm going to go with Miro to pick up the victory and keep that TNT title. Up next, we have a steel cage match. It is going to be the Young Bucks going up against the Lucha Brothers. I'm very perplexed by this one. And that's mainly based upon the beatdown that they did on Dynamite this time around. Now, obviously, this build has been very quick. Now, obviously, there's a history between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Brothers from the original All Out back in 2019, and of course, also their match that was in. Was it Triple Mania or one of the other big AAA shows? As well. So they do have a bit of a history, but in the terms of building towards this steel cage match, rather quick on that because the Young Bucks just got done with the Jurassic Express, and now they are immediately going with the Lucha Brothers in what has been kind of like a couple week, if not even 1 week of a build to go along with it. It's an interesting aspect of of how they're going with that one. But in the terms of this particular match and who I think should be winning this one, or who I'm going to predict to win, I'm actually, oddly enough, based off of that beatdown that they did on Dynamite, going to go with the Lucha Brothers. We're going to get new tag team champions in this one. It will be interesting to see what they decide to do with the top of the cage, or if they're going to do anything up there. For the most part, they usually don't do escapes in AEW with the cage matches. For that. So I do kind of expect something crazy to happen off the top of the cage, but it'll be interesting to see what that ends up being. But in the end, I'm going to go with the Lucha Brothers. Up next, we have the AEW Women's title match. It is going to be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Yes, well, you have to say the whole thing, apparently. Going up against Chris Statlander. And again, this is another match that has had kind of a short build to it. Obviously, you've been seeing Chris Statlander at least picking up victories and going up in the rankings to go along with it. She did help out Red Velvet during the beatdown that Britt Baker and the company actually did on Rampage as well. So it'll be... honestly, like I said, it's been a rather quick build to get to this particular match. And with how long Britt Baker's title reign has gone so far, I don't see it ending here in this particular match. So I'm going to go with Britt Baker to pick up the victory. Though I do like the aspect that they're playing off the factor that Chris Statlander hasn't actually lost a match since she's come back from her knee injury. So they're playing off of that as well. But I expect Britt Baker to pick up the victory in this match for that one. Up next, we've got the AEW Heavyweight Championship match. It is going to be Kenny Omega going up against Christian. Now, Christian just picked up a victory over Kenny Omega a couple weeks ago on the first Rampage for the Impact title, which actually, based off of what they decided to do and having these two matches back to back like this, makes a lot of sense. Because why would you have Christian Cage lose that match and then go into this match? Because then people aren't going to really be as interested in it. So they had Christian pick up the Impact title, which was probably something of an Impact call to go along with that on that one. You would have to imagine, because it is their title, of whether or not they were going to put it on Christian or Kenny Omega, or keep it on Kenny for a little while longer. But it looks like they did decide to go with Christian on that one. Made sense with that particular match as well. Because in this match, well, guess what? I'm picking Kenny Omega. I don't see him losing that title just yet. Again, the story towards Kenny Omega losing that title is probably safe for someone else, probably safe for Hangman Adam Page when he comes back on that one. Many were kind of expecting it to be on this particular show, but it looks like it's going to be at a later time. I don't know if it's going to be in the next few weeks or at the next pay-per-view, because obviously we have Full Gear, which will be going on in November as well, but we'll see how that ends up going. But I see Kenny Omega picking up the victory in this one, and that's who I'm going to be going with in this. So that brings us to, well, if you think traditionally, the title match should be your main event. But the talk and the buzz, this probably is your main event, especially since it is in Chicago, especially since the person's coming back after a 7-year hiatus. And oh yeah, it's CM Punk. It's CM Punk going up against Darby Allin. This match, I have to expect will be fantastic. And it should, or hopefully it will be fantastic. We're finally going to get to see Punk actually have a match for the first time in over 7.5 years, because it's been January 2014 since we've seen him have a match. There's always, of course, been the rumored run-ins at indie shows that he's had as well, but those aren't matches. This is the first time in the ring for a match. We've seen little snippets here and there. You get the jaw-jacking between Darby Allin and CM. Nothing physical between the two of them over the last couple of weeks, which is the right call to go with. They've actually had it to the point that they've made this match that babyface versus babyface thing, where both of them get in trouble in some way, shape, or form. The other one is like, we want this match, and wants to make sure it happens, so they come out and make the save in some way. And, for as short of the build has been on that one since Punk has returned, because again, this has only been announced a few weeks ago. So you've been they teased it, Punk returned, Punk confirmed it, confirmed the match, and then boom, here we are. With this one being CM Punk's first match back, I don't see him losing it. There's two things that I could see. Him winning a match, but to eventually put Darby Allin over at a later time, because I feel like that's the route that they may end up going with this, or at least how they've been going with Darby, is that he meets some form of adversity and then eventually conquers it, like with Cody with the TNT title. We obviously haven't seen that potential with his last major loss, which was Miro. And it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being something that they go back down the line. So honestly, in the terms of a call for who is winning the match, I'm going to go with CM Punk. The only other thing that I could see them potentially doing in this is that they have a time limit draw on that one. But if it's going to main event the show, I don't see them ending the show on a time limit draw. That's why I'm going with CM Punk to pick up the victory with this one. So all in all, looking forward to seeing how All Out comes, how everything comes out at All Out. It should be an interesting show, should be a lot of fun. And yeah, if you guys like this video, of course, give a like, share, subscribe. It'll be much appreciated on that particular one. With that being said, everybody, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.